All right, Peter here, working on a Airline receiver here. You can see the chassis here, which I've pretty well cleaned up. Anyway, started the restoration and discovered this here. That is the final transformer, IF transformer, which feeds the detector, and it had 3 coils in it. It actually had to split. These 2 coils here are the split secondary, and the primary was open. So, and you can see here, this is the pieces of it here that it actually came out in pieces. So I'm not quite sure why that happened, whether the copper rotted out or not. I'm unsure. There was some water that got into this one. So anyway, so I've determined how much what the inductance was and how many feet are in there. So I'm going to see what I can do to wind in a new coil in there. So new winding in there. So just an air winding, so shouldn't be really too bad. But you know, when this was a pretty tiny transformer wire, and I had to very carefully move one of the other ones around. I think that was like a 40 or so. What came out was, it looked like maybe around a 36, a little bit heavier, easy to work with. So anyway, more later as I'm going to try to wind a new coil in there, take some measurements, see if I can get close to the original inductance, and hopefully solder it back together. And also I got to find a cap for it, because what got me going on this was I noticed that the cap was missing. So I probably have an extra cap around somewhere I can put over there. Well, I wound a new coil. Sorry about that. My fingers are all over this thing. There we go. There it is. I wound a new coil for the transformer here, and I had tried to put a coil around, in the middle. Let me kind of point it out here, in the middle, kind of right in. Whoops. There we go. Get this point in the right direction. Kind of right in between the secondary is composed of 2 coils. So anyway, I wound this new one here. So it what I decided to do was to wind it in such a way that I could actually set it right inside there, like that. Now I'm going to secure it down with a nylon screw. So what I did, these wires were on the inside, so I moved them to the outside so that the coil can fit in there. So this is I ran. What I did was I ran the calc based on the capacitor being the tuning cap being in its mid position, and so anyway, so I set the inductance for that. Actually, I ran it a little bit more inductance than what was called for, just in case, because I'd rather be a little bit too many coils and not enough, or windings or turns than not enough. So we went with so it could end up being a little low, but that's okay if that's the case. So but it actually came out pretty good. It's one of those things. I wound it on a that's a 1/4-inch shaft, and it ends up being about just a little over a 1/2-inch diameter. I've just got it taped on for now. Once I get it set, I probably will put some glue around the windings so that keeps them secure. And then those are 440 threads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some. I have to stop at a hardware store and pick up some nylon 440 hardware so I can secure it down in and keep it secure in the inside the coil. So let's see how it goes, and we'll see how successful or not successful we are. Okay, we have the new coil, primary coil set inside the form of the final IF transformer. And I've hooked up the VNA to it. Let's see what she looks like. So it's actually off. It's off a little bit. It's a little bit too low. The span is from 200 kilohertz to 800 kilohertz. So that's at about 400. So it's a little bit low. I already have tried the capacitor in the middle. There's a cap on the primary. So anyway, I'm going to have to wind some turns off it. So I got to take it out and wind some turns off it, and then we'll give it another try and hopefully get a little closer. But it is very encouraging, because the original coil that I put in there wasn't working well at all. And managed to fit it inside the original coil form. So that came up pretty well. So managed to make that all work just fine. Got it operating now. Let me grab a seat to sit here. Sorry about the jiggliness. So pretty cool dial on this one here, kind of an airplane dial type.
Confidence in you, buddy. I appreciate that.
And that's a broadcast band there. It's which works pretty well. So you can see here you've got a dial pointer here for audio, and there's another dial pointer for let me turn the audio up again, for the tone, treble, and then down to treble, and then down to bass. So anyway, it came up pretty well. I've got a cover I got to put over that detector transformer there. So, but anyway, it came out pretty well. Pretty nice little receiver. At the moment, I've got an older 45 in there. One of the 45s was NG, which was unfortunate. Anyway, looking for a new one now. We'll get that at the right time. So had to redo the dial cord. The dial cord was frayed and had just about had it. So and I managed to get these ones here straightened out too. They were kind of messed up but yeah, it all came out pretty well. I had this Zenith 10-inch field coil type speaker on hand, so it had a dead output transformer. Of course, in this one, it didn't need it because the output transformer is in the radio. So that being the case, I'm going to actually remove it. But at some point, I'm going to rewind and hopefully repair the other speaker. So the original speaker. But for now, that will stuck the Zenith in there, and that should be just fine. So it looked to me like the field coil sizes were pretty similar, and the radio obviously is working pretty well. So that's the story here, and another radio brought back to life.